Hello. Let us today know about the muscles of mastication. The muscles of mastication are 4 in number, and they are temporalis muscle, masseter muscle, lateral pterygoid muscle and medial pterygoid muscle. These 4 muscles are the muscles of mastication and they are supplied by the mandibular nerve. To be accurate, the medial pterygoid is supplied by the branch of mandibular nerve derived from the trunk of it, and the remaining 3 muscles are supplied by the branch of the anterior division of the mandibular nerve. So mandibular nerve supplies the muscles of mastication. To start with the first muscle, which is the temporalis. The origin of temporalis is it takes origin from the temporal fossa of the skull and the adjoining temporal fascia. So it is a fan-shaped muscle extending from the temporal fossa and adjoining temporal fascia passes below the zygomatic bone. It is a broad fan-shaped muscle at the origin, and at its lower end it becomes tapered and it is inserted onto the anterior border of the coronoid process of the mandible. Anterior border of the coronoid process of the mandible and the adjoining anterior border of the ramus close to the third molar tooth and the medial surface of the coronoid process of the mandible. So it takes origin from the temporal fossa, adjoining temporal fascia. At the origin it is broad, at the insertion it is tapering, and finally is inserted onto the anterior border of coronoid process of the mandible, adjoining anterior border of the ramus of the mandible behind the third molar tooth, and also onto the medial surface of the coronoid process of the mandible. This muscle is supplied by the anterior division of mandibular nerve, and the main or the prime action of this muscle is elevation, and some fibers of it cause retraction of the mandible. The lower fibers of it and lower posterior fibers of it may cause retraction of the mandible, but the main action is it is elevation of the mandible. Okay, this is about the muscle temporalis. Let us go with the masseter now. Masseter is a word derived from Greek which means chewer. This is a chewing muscle and it takes origin from the this is zygomatic arch. So it has anterior fibers, middle fibers and posterior fibers. Anterior fibers takes origin from the anterior 2/3 of the zygomatic arch, lower border of the anterior 2/3 of the zygomatic arch. These are the anterior fibers. Posterior fibers take origin from the posterior 1/3 of the zygomatic arch. and these two together are considered as the superficial stratum of the masseter. It also has a deep stratum The deep stratum is taking origin from the inner surface of the lower half of the zygomatic arch. That means along the inner side of this zygomatic arch in its lower half. These are considered as the deep fibers. All these fibers are inserted onto the ramus of the mandible. The anterior fibers are inserted onto the posterior aspect of the ramus, and the posterior fibers are inserted onto the anterior aspect of the ramus of the mandible, and the deep fibers are inserted deep to this under cover of these two fibers in its upper half of the outer surface of the ramus of the mandible. So this overall forms a cruciate type of muscle being supplied by the masseteric nerve, which is a branch of the mandibular nerve, and it is a chief. It also causes action, like the chief action of this muscle is elevation of the mandible. So clear? Now coming to the third muscle, that is lateral pterygoid muscle. An important muscle because this muscle divides the maxillary artery into three parts. Proximal to the muscle is the first part, posterior or anterior to the muscle is the second part, and distal to the muscle is the third part. Not only this, the lateral pterygoid muscle contains pterygoid venous plexus. Because of the presence of the pterygoid venous plexus, which connects the superficial veins with the deep veins, it acts like a peripheral heart. Although the gravity is helping in venous return back to the heart, since there is presence of venous plexus within this muscle, this is also considered as a peripheral heart along with soleus. And this lateral pterygoid muscle is the only muscle of mastication which is the depressor of the mandible. Unlike other three muscles which are elevators of the mandible, that means which closes the mouth, whereas this lateral pterygoid muscle opens the mouth, and opening of the mouth is the movement occurring with the gravity. Hence, the point of insertion of this muscle on the bone is smooth. Unlike the other three muscles where it is causing elevation, which is a movement against the gravity, their points of insertion on the bone makes the bone rough. Okay, I'll show it at the end, all these things. Now coming to the attachments of this lateral pterygoid. Lateral pterygoid has upper head and lower head. It has two heads of origin. Upper head takes origin from the infratemporal surface of the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. So this is upper head, which is taking origin from the infratemporal surface. This one is the infratemporal surface of the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. And the lower head takes origin from the lateral surface of this lateral pterygoid plate. So this is lower head, which takes origin from the lateral surface of lateral pterygoid plate. At its insertion, it is horizontal. At the site of insertion, the muscle becomes horizontal and it is inserted onto the smooth pterygoid fovea, smooth portion along the, it is inserted onto the smooth portion along the anterior aspect of the neck of the mandible, which is called as the pterygoid fovea. This portion is called as pterygoid fovea, which is smooth. And also to the adjoining fibrous capsule of the temporomandibular joint. It is also inserted onto the adjoining fibrous capsule of the temporomandibular joint. This one is the capsule, and even the articular disc of temporomandibular joint. So this one is the attachments. Again I repeat. Origin from the infratemporal surface of the greater wing of the sphenoid, that is the upper head. The lower head is taking origin from the lateral surface of this one, which is the lateral pterygoid plate. Insertion is anterior aspect of the neck of the mandible, which is nothing but the pterygoid fovea, a smooth depressed region to which the insertion happens, along with its adjoining fibrous capsule of the temporomandibular joint and the articular disc. So this is about the attachments of the lateral pterygoid. Lateral pterygoid it is the only depressor of the mandible, depressor muscle of the muscles of mastication. It also causes along with the medial pterygoid muscle of the same side, it causes protraction of the mandible. Alternatively acting with the lateral and medial pterygoid muscle of opposite side, it helps in side to side movements, that is chewing movements. Okay, but the main action of this lateral pterygoid is depression of the mandible. The last muscle of mastication is medial pterygoid, which is also having two heads of origin. Medial pterygoid muscle. This is the only muscle which gets its nerve supply from the trunk of the mandibular nerve, and the other three muscles are getting nerve supply from the anterior division of the mandibular nerve. Now this one, medial pterygoid muscle has two heads of origin. Superficial head takes origin from the tuberosity of maxilla. This is maxilla bone. Superficial head takes origin from the tuberosity of the maxilla, and the deep head takes origin from the inner surface or medial surface of lateral pterygoid plate. This is superficial head, which is smaller, and the deep head which comes from the under surface of this lateral pterygoid plate. I am showing it in dotted, that representing that it is coming from the inner surface of it, and this forms the bulk of the muscle, medial pterygoid. This is superficial head, and this one is the deep head. And both the muscles fuse pass underneath the ramus of the mandible by descending downwards and laterally under cover of the ramus to reach below the mandibular foramen on the inner aspect, and finally inserts below the mandibular foramen at the junction between the mandibular foramen and the angle on the inner aspect of the ramus of the mandible. So this one is the final insertion of this medial pterygoid muscle. This medial pterygoid muscle also is it is an elevator of the mandible. It causes opening of the mouth. Main action is elevation. Along with medial pterygoid, it causes protrusion, and alternatively contracting with the lateral and medial pterygoids of the opposite side, it also helps in side to side movements or the chewing movements. Now to sum up, I just want to show the attachments on the skull. So this one is the temporal fossa, from where the temporalis is taking origin, passes underneath the zygomatic bone and finally gets inserted onto this anterior border of the coronoid process and the adjoining ramus anterior border, and also onto the medial surface of the coronoid process. This is temporalis. Now coming to the masseter, masseter takes origin from the lower border of this zygomatic bone or zygomatic arch. Anterior fibers takes origin from the lower border of anterior 2/3. Posterior 1/3 gives origin to the posterior fibers. These two together forms the superficial fibers. The deep stratum is formed from it takes origin from the inner surface, that means from inside, inner surface of the lower half of the zygomatic bone. And all the three are inserted onto the ramus of the mandible in the form of X-shaped, I can say, suggesting that it is a cruciate type of muscle. Okay. And it is also an elevator of the mandible. Third muscle, lateral pterygoid muscle. The superficial head is this one. This is the infratemporal surface of greater wing of sphenoid bone. Infratemporal surface of greater wing of sphenoid bone is the superficial head or upper head, sorry. This is the upper head where I am putting my finger, and the lower head takes origin from this plate. This is a lateral pterygoid plate. So from the lateral surface of lateral pterygoid plate is the lower head. From the infratemporal surface of greater wing of the sphenoid is the upper head, and muscle passes horizontally backwards to be inserted onto this smooth round portion here, that is a pterygoid fovea, which is present on the anterior aspect of the neck of the mandible. So this is about the lateral pterygoid. Coming to the medial pterygoid, it takes origin from this one tuberosity of the maxilla bone. This is a superficial head, and the deep head takes origin from this one inner surface or medial surface of lateral pterygoid plate, and it is inserted onto the inner aspect of the ramus inside below the mandible. This is a mandibular foramen and this is the angle. So at this portion where I am putting my finger, that is the insertion of the medial pterygoid. If you see all these four muscular regions of insertion, this is a masseter which is inserted where I am feeling. It appears to be rough, suggesting that muscle is an anti-gravity muscle, and the anti-gravity movement is elevation. So masseter is causing elevation. This one is temporalis, which is rough insertion portion. So this is also anti-gravity muscle. So it is also causing elevation. Medial pterygoid also is rough, which is anti-gravity muscle. It is also causing elevation. Whereas this one is smooth. So the muscle which is attached here should be acting with the gravity, and that muscle is lateral pterygoid muscle, and the movement with the gravity is opening of the mouth or the depression. So lateral pterygoid is the only depressor of the mandible. The remaining three muscles are elevators of the mandible, and the muscles of the mastication has to be supplied by mandibular nerve. This is all about the muscles of mastication. Thank you.